Hey y'all, welcome back. Another episode of Teachers on Podcast. I'm CHRISSIE.
Yes, I know.
And together we are Teachers on. I do not think they can hear you because I can barely hear you when I'm sitting right next to you.
To each his own. Y'all know it.
Even when you said Anna, I can barely hear you. So let's jump right into the what's going on. Pronouncing names. You have it here?
What's going on here is back to school soon. So you motherfuckers better get y'all tongues in order for pronouncing students' names because we're tired of it. We're not doing it no more. Take your time. A lot of people are lazy. A lot of people don't like to read. This goes hand in hand with niggas that don't like to read. I done had to tell a couple people about themselves about not fucking reading. Yeah, okay. You keep on not reading, you gonna find yourself in a world of trouble. Take your time and read people's names. There's no reason why you're calling somebody whose name Alex, Amira, or any dumb shit like that. Y'all just be doing any fucking thing, for real. The first excuse that they always give, but I can't say that name. Yeah, of course you can't. Because you never trained your mind to say it. You never came up. It's new.
You're not even allowed to say that no more.
Oh, some people will.
You can't use that as an excuse no more.
Oh, some people do.
That's a part of being culturally competent.
I can't say that. I can't say that name.
You're not supposed to be able to use it as an excuse anymore.
Oh yeah, well they do. I just can't say it.
Maybe in schools it's a little different than in corporate.
True. But I feel like no matter what, it's different ways of saying that within itself.
No, you're absolutely right.
Oh, I can't say that, or whatever.
Yeah, you better not fucking tell
nobody. I give them a nickname.
What you mean you can't say that? Enunciate, bitch.
It's endearing, easier, faster to you. Names carry our family values, cultures, and dreams. Immigrant and students of color must have names, or most often have names that are mispronounced. It can make students feel invisible. It can make them feel like it can feel like a microaggression, so on and so forth. So make sure you're calling people by their names. I only give people a nickname if they say that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to call you this. No, that's not that person's name. No, that's
not bad, because I do that. By habit, I give people nicknames, especially if your name has more than 2 syllables. I have a habit of giving you a nickname, because I don't be feeling like saying all that shit. But
as Americans,
I do ask if it's okay. I do ask if it's okay, and I'll stop myself, like, I just go through such, like, is it okay if I'll call you that? And most times they'll say, oh yeah, that's my nickname anyway, or yeah, that's fine, but you can't just go fire off and giving people fucking nicknames and they don't approve. First of all, how do I even, if it's not even a nickname that's a rendition of my name, how do I even know you talking to me?
That too.
If I'm not naturally called that, as a nickname, how do you know I even use it as a nickname? I might prefer to be called by my full name.
Sorry, I had to burp real bad. Right. That's why usually, unless a person states otherwise, when you introduce yourself, I call you what you tell me your name is. I just go by that bottom line. I'm not shortening anything or anything like that, because it even says here, I just give them the American version of their name. Nobody asks you to do that, and I feel like it's only within our culture. We're so fucking lazy. Like, we're lazy as shit.
I feel like only people who are not American can do that, because how the fuck do I know what the American version of your name is? I feel like only people who are not American do that.
No, but you know what they hitting towards. John, Juan, shit like that. Like,
oh, okay. Actually, my mind didn't even go there, so I actually didn't, because I wasn't thinking about that. Because I'm like, what do you mean? Because I don't know what the fuck the American name of your name is. I didn't even think about that, but okay, I can see that.
Right, which is rude. And I feel like honestly we only do that here. That's not the same thing.
That John is not necessarily the American name of Juan. The fuck?
It is. In Spanish, John is Juan. Yes, that's why I use that as a.
Oh, okay.
And some people will do that. Some people that do that,
I wouldn't necessarily assume that.
Although I tell people, although some people who will come over here from other countries, for instance, like over in Asia, they'll come over here and they'll change their whole complete name.
Yeah, I've seen it. That's what I was thinking about, and that's why I said I felt like people who are non-American do that, because I was like, well, how would I know what the American version of your name was? That's what I was thinking about.
And just American version is just like, okay, well, I tell people to call me this, because what I noticed that is because we're so. Not trying to be rude, but this is just a fact. Americans are so fucking lazy and so entitled that people literally choose another name because people don't feel like saying their name. Who the fuck are we to make people do that is what I be trying to figure out. And maybe I'm just culturally competent in that aspect than some other people because it's like, no, I noticed that we do that.
Like that.
No, people really do that. Like, oh, we just call him this because it's easier to, we just call him this or we just call him that. It's not even, and it's not even to say it's like
that's a white people thing. I've never heard nobody like I've seen that shit happen in movies and like TV and shit, but I've never seen that shit happen.
In the hood, people give people nicknames all the time, and it don't even necessarily be the nickname that their parents gave them. You never notice it. It's a lot of people.
I've seen somebody give somebody a nickname like how Kevin Hart was just saying in his bid, like nicknames
in the street and stuff like that.
But like not based off of, not simply just because I'm gonna call you this because this is easier than saying your name. I've never heard nobody like flat out fucking say that. And you're the first person, but well, people who have a hard time saying my name, so I just tell them my name is Anna. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard nobody, you will never just fucking flat out say no shit like that to me.
Yeah, people they'll say, oh, I can't have it. I'm just having a such.
Man, that shit started so many fights with me.
People don't even try to, they don't even try.
I've never heard that shit flat the fuck out. Like,
they don't even try. I'm telling you, people do it all the time, though. Just notice and sit back and notice. Americans is lazy as shit. They do shit. They don't like to read. They don't want to say your name. They don't want to, they don't even want to try to enunciate.
So I'm going to just start there. They can't fucking read. And social media has proven that. It ain't even that they don't want to, they can't. They can't.
Right. So just learn how to say the student's name correctly. Let's respect all cultures, languages, and families. Bottom fucking line.
Because I be trying my hardest to like pronounce and enunciate somebody's name that is not quote unquote American. Or because I want to know how to appropriately say it. And if you're right, or a non-common name. And what I will do is, if you like, take an attendance or something, I've heard teachers say, I don't want to, they'll try to say it and they'll say if they can say the last name, either they'll say last name such and such. I don't want to say it wrong. Can you tell me how to say it? That's the appropriate thing to do. And that's what I would say. I've always went like that. I don't ever want to disrespect, because like how you describe what names are, what they stand for as far as culture and identity and things like that. I don't ever want to disrespect somebody's name. I don't know where your name came from,
who you're named after.
Like, I'm not going to do that because you're not going to disrespect me. I find it disrespectful when somebody calls me Christina versus Christine.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've said that before because that's not my fucking name.
Nope.
That's not my name. That's somebody else's. So, I mean, I
agree. So, yeah, let's just work on, start practicing now.
Be respectful. Okay? And teach your kids cursive, too. Okay? Because they take it out. Teach it. Make them read out loud when they're doing their fucking homework because they struggling in these classrooms. But go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I just want to say happy birthday to my dad, by the way, to you. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you. Happy birthday, Foster Daddy. Woo!
I'm done with you. But besides that, I don't have nothing else that's going on. Like, not too much. Not really a lot.
All right, well, not too much on there. We're going to go ahead and slide it into, you want to slide it and give them the boss of the week for this week? Well, Let's Get Fabulous.
Oh, yeah. Let's Get Fabulous. It's a boutique that I came across. The owner, she was very sweet, very nice. And I saw her, fixing up, sprucing up her, what's to call it. So I said, you know what? Let me walk in here and give her and see what she doing. And let me take a look at these pieces that she got. So, I walked in, woman owned. She sells accessories, clothing, and handbags. She's located on 1940 South 19th Street. That's located in South Philly, right on the corner, actually on 19th and McKean. Her hours are from Tuesdays. She's open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays 11 to 5. And you can also order by clicking her link. She has a link for y'all to click on, so y'all can go buy her stuff. She got the 2-piece sets out. She got the short sets, the handbags. She got the chunky bracelets, all that. So, give her a play. See if you need a quick outfit to go out and you in South Philly, give her a play. All right, now, that's Let's Get Fabulous. Her Instagram is LetsGetFabulous. Let's Get Fabulous. In my fashion world voice. Fabulous. Shout out to you, girl. Shout out to you.
Remember when Kel played the gay guy on the Parkers show back in the day? That used to be his little word. Like, that is fabulous. That used to be his little thing back in the day. I used to be cracking up. For anybody who remember the Parkers show back in the day, that shit used to be so funny.
I do. I just don't remember that.
That shit used to be so funny. He's like, I'm fabulous. I'm like, why would they have him out of all people play a gay character? But that was funny. So shout out to you, Let's Get Fabulous. Good job, South Philly.
Yes.
All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and bounce right on to it. Go ahead, Alex. You want to take away with the truth about black men who date white women?
Yes, because I love the cut things. I like the Jubilee, the cut, all those social media kind of like shows that they have where they do all these, they bring people together and talk about these topics. I think it's a good way for people to have dialogue. So I find myself scrolling late at night on Facebook and just like really and looking at them, because that's where I got some content in previous weeks before. Is they talk about a lot of great shit.
I don't know how to fucking find these shows.
So it's on Facebook.
I don't know how to find it. I don't even know what. I can't wrap my mind around it.
It's underneath the play tab. That's it. Because people post shit underneath there. So where the play button is, it's not gonna come up on your regular feed.
The what tab?
It's a play button on Facebook. If you go on Facebook, it's the second tab to the right. This one right here, it says play video. That's what it says. Video under here, and it's in the feed right there, because that's where you find soft white underbelly, all that stuff like that. Like it's a lot of people are. A guy who interviews a lot of people on Skid Row over there on the West Coast, like trans people on drugs, pimps, hoes, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I forgot what show I was listening to, and they were just talking about that, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, I didn't even know people watched it. I didn't even know people watched it. I thought I was the only person that paid attention. I'm like, this stuff is actually really good. Understand? I'm like, when they be like, and that's what I don't get, when you were just like, it's a play button on Facebook, and people be talking about like, oh, it's a YouTube show that. I don't know how to fucking watch YouTube TV. I don't even understand the concept of how they even like. Is it a different streaming? So I don't know how it works. I literally feel like I live under a rock.
No, you thinking too hard about it. You just go to the person's YouTube channel. We literally have a YouTube. They do it's the same thing. They just posted. They just
I was using that as another example, but to talk about this too, I was like, I had no idea like this stuff existed. Like, how did you create shows that only show on like Facebook? Because they used to do the same thing with like, oh, the show airs on Snapchat, or the show airs on. I'm like, huh? Like, what do you mean the show air? I'm like, how the fuck do you do shows on that? And you actually make money? Like, I'm confused, and that's why I say I feel like I live under a rock when it comes to.
No, I just think of it as the same way how we started. We started on Instagram. It's the same shit, literally. It's really literally.
But it's not like an Instagram like live, and it's like it's hosted on like a. I don't understand.
It's just a pre-record. It's just a pre-recorded thing. They just record it wherever they want to record how we record. They just choose the platforms to put it out.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand like where the platform that is actually hosted at, where it's on like Facebook. I'm like, it was totally new to me. Yeah. I was like, we got enough streaming services. Facebook had to go add TV too, and so do you.
It ain't no TV. It's not. I don't even necessarily want to call it TV. It's just a place for them to put their content. Literally, it serves the same purpose as YouTube. It's all the same. Literally, you're thinking too hard about it. It's literally all the
that's why I said. That's what literally I just said. I don't understand, but I feel like I live under a rock.
So So I was scrolling and
Facebook TV.
I went to. It's not called Facebook TV. It's just under videos. Because
that's how I'm just processing. I'm just like, Facebook TV, which is like an accident.
So they this post I came up scrolling and it just randomly came up, so I just started watching it. And this guy and this girl was having a conversation. And I thought it was very funny, and I thought it was so interesting to see his reaction. It just was like, yo, he was blowing my shit. But I'm just gonna I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Because I think it might be too long. But oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me turn my volume up first. What do we got?
Turn it up.
That was our good girlfriend. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm sorry. It's a little bit over here. He on live starting his shit. See, he's under the index. When he goes, they move everything over to the play tab. So when people go live and stuff, unless you're following them, they're not going to come onto your feed. You got to go to the play tab, and then it's all different kinds of shit. It's kind of, I think of it just like the explore page, basically. That's basically what it is. So let's share this with y'all really quickly.
Do you grow up as a white girl?
Yes.
And you get attention from black guys?
Yes.
In my experience and all the other white girls that I know, we don't think that getting attention from black guys gives you a status of some sort. If you get attention from the white guys, you do have the status more than if you get attention from black guys.
As a man, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with that.
Well, as a woman who gets attention and who grew up in a white culture more than a black culture, I'm going to tell you that getting attention from black guys is not a badge of honor if you're white.
Okay.
And I'm white.
You are white.
Yes.
All right.
If a white girl gets attention from a white guy, that's more valuable in white culture than if she gets attention from a black guy. If she gets attention from a black guy, that doesn't make you a better anything. Like, that doesn't raise you in anybody's eyes. As a matter of fact,
in some people's eyes it does.
As a matter of fact, it's a little bit of a
It's two
you know,
opposite sides of the coin.
Oh, not y'all playing the ad. The disrespect.
But it's to her point. It's two opposite sides of the coin. I can see exactly where she's coming from. To black, it's kind of similar to that whole passport bros mindset.
Yeah.
To black men, you guys think it's a fucking prize if you can bag a white bitch and she marries you and all of that. But to white men and white women, no, we are not a prize to them. They've always looked like they've always think that we are beneath them. We're not 100% human beings to them. So why would they think that it's a prize to have one of us? I can totally see exactly what she means.
She's basically not good enough for the white, so she's good for the black guys. That's how it's looked at with white people.
I see it the opposite way, though.
See,
Because you're a black man.
black women have done black men a huge disservice, and that has inflated the ego of the black man overall. And that's why black men are talking to black women the way they are, because of black women's. You have done the black man a disservice. You have handicapped the black man by calling the black man king and making his blackness mean more than it's supposed to. You elevate his blackness over his manhood. See, other men have to show up as men. A Mexican man, he doesn't have to show up as a Mexican man. He has to show up as a man. He has to produce as a man. A white man comes through the door as a man. So when a white woman is attracted to a white man, it's not his whiteness. It's his manhood. It's his ability to conquer, his ability to manufacture, his ability.
So, and that's coming from a man. That's coming from a man.
I was thinking, I was like, where's he going with this? But I see where he's going with this. When he said that black women did black men a disservice by putting a spotlight on their blackness versus the fact of them being a man. I can absolutely see where he's coming from.
For me personally, it was utterly ignorant how fucking. First of all, he tried to cut her off, and you can't tell her about being white because you're not white. I'm just like, look at him, I'm like, and this is exactly what this man is talking about. That shit right there. The way he just tried to interject and just say, oh, well, no, I'm gonna stop you right now because y'all put them on the pedestal. Yeah, you're the one who thinks that way. Exactly. I'm like, oh, this was very interesting. I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm glad that she put that shit to the forefront because clearly they're a couple, clearly they're together, and clearly she had to set some shit straight real quick because she like, don't get it fucked up. Let me just let you know.
I love you, but I am frowned upon my own community because I'm dating you.
And I thought this would have been so much more interesting.
And ironically, I feel like white men with black women, they know that, which is why, for the most part, they overcompensate in how they treat them. Because they do understand that it'll be at some point or some level that you'll be frowned upon, and I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I want you to entrust the fact that I love you for who you are and who you are to me. So I overcompensate in what I do and how I feel about you because I know how my community will look at you.
And that's one way to look at it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And I know how I know how your community and my community is going to look at you from both standpoints. Because I just can't.
And I felt like it's on both parties at that point, no matter what two races, but especially white and black. Since we're sitting here talking about it, if you are in an interracial relationship, it is accountability on both parties to be super sensitive to each other's sides.
Yep.
It's for both of y'all to do. You have to be oversensitive and almost overcompensate for one another, especially when it comes to having their back within your own community.
Right. Because that's the thing.
Right.
Girl. I said, oh, okay. So they do, and I'm like, damn. And it's like all these years we've been going back and forth because there are some black women who specifically don't even like the thought or the idea. They even will scoff in public or look at people because they date interracial, especially when it comes to black men dating white women. I've actually one of our friends has said some shit, and I had to check her on it because it's like, why are you so invested in that? Why is that your outlook? I'm like, this because in my head I'm already thinking they're already going against. They already have so many odds against them as it is. So it's just like, why does that bother you? That's who he chose. And being as though, and based on this man's reaction, not the person who responded to the video within the same clip, but I'm talking about the actual black boyfriend that was dating the white girl. That reaction right there, I feel like that's the reason why some men, some women, or some people who are black think that way.
And I feel like, to her point, when I say her, and I mean our girlfriend, I think she thinks that way because she's one of those. I think she's getting upset from the point of someone's preference. I think it's often assumed with people of an ignorant mindset that when you see someone dating someone of the opposite race, that is their preference, and that is not always the case. That's not always the case.
Not even opposite, different, because y'all won't be canceling me.
Exactly. So it's just because I'm not dating within my own race does not mean that that's my preference. It could just be who I'm dating at the time. It's the difference between somebody saying, oh, I prefer to date white women versus, oh, I don't have a preference of what race or ethnicity of a woman that I date.
Because some people don't.
Exactly, and then some people do. So those are two different languages. Those are two different perspectives. So I think, again, often when an ignorant individual gets upset just by automatically seeing an interracial couple, it's of the ignorant mindset of, oh, I think that's who you prefer, and that's all you prefer. That's not necessarily the case.
It could just be that this is my person. And
exactly.
That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I could be fucking somebody Chinese today, somebody Russian tomorrow.
It could just be that, you just wound up with that person. You probably never had the preference before, but because you're an open person, you just so happen to date a person who, while I will say, I feel like his reaction said it all for me, though. I'm sorry. The guy, the boyfriend said it. It said a lot.
He was exactly.
It said a lot. Who
that example was referred to.
Because I'm like, bruh. How you sitting here trying to tell this woman about being a white woman? No. So yes it is. No, it's not.
She can't tell you about being a black man for sure.
Like, where have you been? Did you not hello, slavery? Like, they don't want they want their own. They want their own. They don't want it's not even
pure white blood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They want their own. We was good enough to abuse and use and mutilate and stuff like that, but to take somebody serious and have them in a relationship and lead a life with them and build a life with them, they take that shit hard. They don't like that shit. And some black people feel the same way. However, you can date somebody purple, orange, green, pink, or red. Do you, as long as they treat you right, it is what it is. However, but when you do date outside of your race, I think that a lot of times, even with people who do, some people choose to date other people of color because I was watching another one of these kinds of because they feel like they have more to relate to versus a person who has a lot of privilege. You know what I'm saying? So, and I could see that, and I thought that was a very interesting take too, because I could see that. Because I've
seen real live examples of that all the time.
Yep. I'm like, I could see that from this perspective.
Which is why we see blacks and Hispanics often together.
Yep, black people and Asian people. You know what I mean? So
black and Asians less, but nevertheless you do see it. Depending on what part of the Asian continent they from.
Okay.
They might not be fucking with that. Just saying.
Yeah. Might not be Blue Indian people.
Shut up, stupid. But woo. All right. So moving forward, well, I guess this next topic, are we talking about society and the ignorance? Society is, there was someone who, was this a tweet or a status, whichever one, there was someone who
Facebook
posted and stated, society is normalizing delusion.
Yes, 1,000%. I'm all for telling people they can strive to be great and reach their goals and do wonderful things in life. But where do we draw the line? Because a lot of y'all are deluded, okay?
I think the problem is, and I'm going to tread softly on this, and I'm going to just be quite honest, I might not have too much to say on this, because if I go too far, I might go too wrong, and hell might just be up in arms. Might as well just call it quits on the podcast right now. But
throw in the towel.
But I say that to say, because science works so hard to prove things wrong or to prove a hypothesis to be true. I believe that's why there is the line that was drawn in the sand between, you know, science and spirituality is,
and it gets to be shaky.
Very, I forget gray, blurred. It's damn near gone. And I hate to have to use this example, but it's the first one that pops in my mind, and I'm gonna say this example when I'm back off because I'm just saying I ain't so like we'll see too much. So we don't have to throw in the towel. But when you talk about, you know, going as far as impregnating males and perhaps to have them, you know, reproduce biological males, however you want to say it. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I don't know the proper terms, and I really don't have enough time in the day to sit down and try to keep up with it all. But when science goes to that point, again, with literally trying to oppose what we naturally know in human being form, does that not create a form of delusion?
Listen, and not even just that point. On the point when you have someone
society who support that, is that not why we are at this point?
When you have someone saying that slavery benefited black people, I don't know if that within itself is delusion. So since it fucking benefited us so much, how about we switch roles for 400 years and we check back in? And you let us know the benefits that you reap.
I think people lie to themselves. That's another thing, a part of the delusion. When people can lie to themselves so long that they start to believe it. When you, Civil War, for an example, the story that white people tell themselves, or that the average white person tells themselves about Civil War and why we went to Civil War, y'all told lie after lie for generations. Does that not become a delusion to where you perpetuate it to a point where there's a generation who knows nothing but the lie that you perpetuated? So is that delusional to them, or is it that's just all they know?
It's been normalized.
It's been normalized.
That's exactly what I'm. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm bringing the point to.
I feel like it's one generation that his choice. It appears delusional, but that's all they know. In the generation before them, y'all wasn't delusional. Y'all know y'all was fucking wrong, and you just making up lies to try to make sense of it, to make yourself feel better. And that in lies, you are delusional.
Yeah, you are delusional, right? Yeah. Because to have people walking around saying that is just, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. After years of research, after years of evidence, even hell, just turning on your goddamn TV or walking out your door.
Is it delusional, or is it really that just selfish?
That too, but it's like they're delusional. To think that it's okay to operate that way is delusional within itself.
Okay, to think that it's okay is delusional, yes, but the idea of knowing that it's absolute, because you know that it's not true, you're not delusional about that. You absolutely know that it's not true.
Y'all have to know that we're not going for it. Y'all gotta know
that it's okay. Yeah, delusional, which you can go back to everything that y'all did before that. It's the idea slavery was delusional. Y'all thought that shit was okay. America is fucking predicated and birthed on delusion. The idea that a bunch of wrong shit is okay.
Right. I agree. Robbing, killing, stealing,
this
pillaging,
fucking country is delusional. We are birthed on the ideas of fucking delusion, which is why, unfortunately, until that psychosis of delusion can be the fuck reversed, because that's what it is. Until it can be reversed, America will always have a fucking problem.
Absolutely, I agree.
Always, it will always be an uphill battle. And I hate to sound pessimistic, but I don't ever foresee a future where, unfortunately, racism does not exist.
No,
because we are predicated. Because this fucking country was birthed on delusion.
Look at it. Listen,
and until you get to the point where all of that is reversed. Let's go ahead and reverse the last 2,000 years, the last 400 years, whatever. And unless all of that is reversed, It's
I feel
we're
like
never
it's
going to
delusional
get
to
back
even
to
think
square
that, and I don't
one.
like to sound. I don't want to sound like that either. But yeah, for me personally, like saying that it'll never be. No, it's too ingrained in history, bro. It's too ingrained.
Yeah, like,
since the
and I
beginning of
hate
time.
to say that. I really do.
It ain't gonna be. Listen, it ain't gonna be like that until the day comes when all of this gets raptured up. And I'm not trying to push my beliefs on nobody else, but that's how I see it. It's going to always be this way because people just can't let it go.
Nope.
Like, and honestly, like, just like the fuck I said to DeSantis, I challenge you. If you really fucking think, if you think yourself, if you believe that with every fiber of your being, that black people actually really benefited from slavery, how about y'all willingly, you and every other person who is of the Caucasian descent, let's trade places and see just how much benefits you guys receive and just how much of a head start that you'll have in the world. Let's just say that we just do it that way. Oh no, not for a day, 400 motherfucking years. Let's do it like that. Y'all get little 400
doing shit like that
it's dangerous. It's dangerous, and that's why it's delusional.
Dangerous. And it's like when you just start saying shit like that, it's just like really like that shit don't make no fucking sense, but you going to say that shit to incite some level. It's some straight Donald Trump shit to incite the minds of those who are less smart and those who are more ignorant
just have
than
less
others.
access.
And those who are more ignorant than others. When that's going to incite those of that mindset to be like, see, I fucking told you that.
It's crazy.
Really, like exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
When you do shit like that, and I'm not gonna even say that, but exactly what you're doing when you do shit like that. And all I can say is, he was the governor, right?
Yeah, of Florida.
Who the governor?
Philadelphia.
Who the governor?
Don't start your stuff.
I don't know what it is.
That's Christine. We're not a political. What's it called?
Let's
let it go.
But I just want to tell them don't start this shit. I don't know his name. I was just everybody know his name. But whoever it is, whoever our people is over up here in PA. Baby. Don't start that shit over here. Because if y'all think the gun violence is bad now. You alright?
I'm over here waiting for you because you starting your shit.
What?
Because you like somebody grandma.
I'm just saying.
Cussing out the kids on the stoop.
No, because I don't know. I don't know that shit. But I
don't tell the people. Don't be ignorant to the people.
That's why I tried to give me the answer before I said it out loud.
It's all right. It doesn't even.
I don't keep up with the niggas.
It doesn't even matter.
Needless to say, it does put us in a different space where I feel like that's why every day when you get on turn on whatever news outlet you choose, whether it's the news on the television, whether it's social media, the newspaper, whatever the case may be. Like you said, it's a very dangerous territory, and every state is amongst something different. You got to look at so many different dynamics before you make choices about anything.
Yep.
I mean, even going to the fucking store to go shopping, like it's too many. You got to be too precautionary for things these days, and that danger is. So are we boycotting Florida because of that?
Not boycotting Florida.
I'm asking because I did hear about boycotting Florida.
We ain't letting.
They said they didn't want to spend no money down there because
we are not going to let. Put it this way, from this black woman to anyone else watching this who feels like that shit is the fuck okay, you can bet your mama's ass that I'm not going for this shit. I'm not, and I don't think too many black people are. So we'll never allow that to be the thing. But I feel like I want to tell all my people in Florida, y'all better be ready to be educating your children about the real deal, because they really like middle school. That's what they're going to be teaching. Like that we've been like this curriculum.
And slavery was a
benefit. Like what? Are you kidding me? Like are you actually kidding me?
How much you benefit from this ass whooping?
Okay, sincerely, listen. Volunteer.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry.
And I'll go find me a cat of nine tails just for your ass.
So yeah, they're trying to. I see them slowly doing shit, trying to normalize in different aspects of life, like when it
Mhm.
comes to education and stuff like that, and then allowing people to identify as stoves
Health
and
and
shit.
education is crazy right now.
It is. Health and education is very crazy. So, and these are two things that are very important to society, and something that we need to make sure that we, grab the reins on. We can't just let that shit rock. Like, we just really can't. Like, if I was in Florida, I don't know, I might gotta get the fuck up out of Florida, because they wouldn't be teaching my kid that, or they wouldn't be taking history class. I wonder if that should, parents should boycott that and then tell them that their kids is not taking that
why
class.
the parents, like, who voted for this to even go into
This can't, please don't let this be the black schools.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about too. Like, if you were a black teacher in a school district and this came to
Would you be willing?
What would you do? How would you get around this? Black educators, how would you get around this? Imagine this surpasses in other states, and imagine that this is something that's forthcoming to our state.
Yep.
How would you respond to this?
Because they always try it in those states down there first.
You always try it in
Florida,
certain states.
Texas, yep.
So Pennsylvania normally come in the second round of states that like to try shit. Not in the first round. If they Florida and Texas and them be in the first round, but Pennsylvania be in the second round. Okay, so educators, how would you guys respond to that?
Yeah, right. I'm interested to know.
If I was a parent, I would definitely be fighting. But even if I was the only one, I would be fighting against this. Who you fuck? I don't care if I was at the school every day. I probably would, like, if I had to quit my job or like dedicate half my time to it, because why would you be teaching my kids something like that? I fucking around start my own school or something.
For, like, showing up every morning like, I know y'all fucking lying. Y'all lying today. And y'all lying tomorrow. Next week y'all still lying.
One time your history class, I did this school every time.
Or you're not taking it, or no, that's your lunch break. And I sent a whole PTA meeting with everybody. I need everybody in the school, from the janitor,
a whole other history book.
Yup, from the janitor to the principal. Get your asses down to this auditorium. We gonna iron this shit out.
Yeah.
Period. Because I just can't. I'm saying, what the hell? Imagine, because it just took me back, and I'm like, I'm even thankful that I learned certain things in, school as it is, and the real story, not what was traditionally passed down in these nut ass history books. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that.
Say that again. These nut ass history books.
Yeah, some nut ass history books, bro.
Nut ass curriculum.
So what's next on? Oh Lord.
Last but not least, here we are at the forefront, and we just gonna go on and talk about, because I thought this was interesting. I said, here we go. So when it comes to female rap, do you feel like female rap degrades women more than male rap does? I'm still pondering on this question, to be honest.
I'm teetering too, because I feel like it's a catch 2020.
Yeah.
That's 2020.
It's a catch 2020.
22.
Bitch, that is not the vision I had. Not a catch 2020. Bitch, I bought 20 and 23. Negative 20 and 23.
Girl,
But,
okay.
I don't. It's half and half to me. It's half and half.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I feel like more so. I feel like the new age female rap is really what the problem is, because I feel like we talked about her at the end of the last week's episode. I feel like rappers like Missy, Remy, even when Nicki early on, even when she had her, I don't feel like that their rap was degrading to women. I feel like it was empowering. I feel like on one hand they was talking the same shit and the heavy shit that the guys were talking, so that they could show that they could handle the bars, and that they could sit in the same rooms and the same rings with them. Right, and the pen be penning. But I feel like at the same time, they were also empowering women as well. Like, if you gonna if a man gonna write a rap talking about how you can do all of this and bang my head up against the headboard, I can write a rap telling you how about I'm gonna ride your face until the sun come up. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, I get it.
So.
Yeah.
I feel like on in that aspect, they were empowering to them and pretty much just kind of standing up for us on some. We can talk the same shit that they can talk about and still sound as well as they sound saying it. And still get a hit. Still get a top 100, top 10 or whatever the case may be, radio play. So I'm a little eerie a bit. Again, these girls these days. Again, I'm just Sexy Red. I feel like,
First of all,
they're still empowering, but it's super. I feel like it's in a different way. I feel like they still trying to stand out there on some I can say what I want kind of thing, but it's not as empowering as it was before. I think it's just from a strict standpoint of I can say what I want and you just can't say it because you a guy kind of thing, or some anything you can do I can do better kind of thing. I feel like that's the energy that is coming from right now, not from the.
Cause like Future said, I ain't got no manners for no slut. I'm gonna put my thumb in the butt.
We ain't got no problem with that, but
right.
What I'm saying is,
sorry.
I get what you. I guess I get where it's going, because there's certain rappers that I'm just like again using Sexy Red as an example. The song it's funny to play around and sing with your girlfriends, but if you gonna really sit there and listen to that kind of female rap all day,
no. I haven't downloaded the song, and no shade and no hate to her, but I haven't downloaded none of her songs, and it's crazy because I like the baby song, but way before she was even on it. I didn't think it was necessary to put her on that song, to be honest.
I have to,
but maybe they was just trying to give each other.
I never heard the song before.
Maybe they was just trying to give each other, because he was canceled once upon a time. Yeah. He didn't. I'm like, I don't know. I really do like that song. Come shake some. That's my shit. I'm like, but I didn't feel like she had to hop on the record, and then it's like what you're saying, and just like, damn, what she say? I ain't something. I'm a hoe or some shit like that. I said, well, god damn. I'm like, you didn't need to say that.
Once and that was it.
I'm like, you ain't need to say that. It's just that one line. It just kills me. I'm
and
like,
she's
oh
super
wow.
young, right? Like
probably it seems like it gives like
I know
Glorilla's age. It gives.
20s. Yeah. I know she had a child.
Yeah. For sure.
But I know she's in her 20s or whatever. So again, this generation is super different.
That's why they call it pussy rap now.
What?
They call it pussy rap, stripper rap, pussy rap. That's what they call it. The new rap, how the new girls rap, yeah, they call it stripper rap and pussy rap. Because think about when Cardi B and them first came out, because they was all stripper
rap is not a new term, but pussy rap.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Where bitches just rap about their pussy the whole song.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like you'll never label male rap that way.
Absolutely not. We never did.
So I see both sides of the coin.
He gave it what? I guess drill rap. That's it.
No, that's like that's just a style.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That's the only kind of like how we label things when it comes to guys. Like
trap, drill, stuff like that.
We don't really break things down like that when it comes to guys. I mean, Bryson Tiller gave us trap, so that's about it.
Right, and then you got the other rappers who don't ever rap about their vaginas that don't get no play, and it's like, damn. And it's like I've been meaning to tap more into them, but I owe it to myself to tap more into these.
Absolutely, because you know what I miss? I miss like the cypher days. Like remember all like the rap shows that we used to have coming up. Like I miss those. Like that's when we really used to get into it. That's when like female rappers really a thing. Because I don't understand why. Because when you think about it, it's a good handful of female rappers, but again, depending on what you're rapping about, some people have more spotlight than others that we may not have variety. Some people I may have never heard of, versus some others, and it's just like, But that's unfortunately, I feel like racism. That's something that within the industry will be a forever thing when it comes to women specifically. We just start off at a different level than men do.
Automatically.
We have to fight way harder than men do.
And then if you do decide to take the pussy route or the pussy rap route or the stripper rap route, I mean, then that's where the pitfall is.
Yeah, I feel like Megan was a kind of a happy medium.
Gotcha.
Of that, where she could give us I refuse to say pussy rap. Where she can give us the stripper raps, or she could give us the songs for the strip club or whatever. But you can tell she had bars. She also gave us songs that had nothing to do with her pussy as well.
Right, I feel the same way. I think Lotto was on those lines also too, because she can actually rap, but she will give you. And I feel like Cashed Out also, although she's not super recognized mainstream.
And I feel like she should be further than what she should be.
Way further.
I don't understand why. Maybe because she's
some things behind the scenes. Yeah, independent. Yeah, it takes a lot of what's the call? And she was going through a lot of legal issues too. Like for the longest.
To be honest with you, I ain't mad at it. I'd rather be independent than mainstream.
Absolutely, because she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah, I would take the Cash Doll route before I took
the other route.
The other route, and because
Because one thing about
Megan was on the independent route
Yup.
for a short time too, but I guess she felt like, again, depending on your personality and really what you really want for yourself, that's going to really
your
depend
image.
on your image. That's what, and how hard you really depends on how hard you're willing to hustle.
that too.
For
I mean,
real.
some people do hustle and they still don't get no play. Like they'll
That's
try to
true.
do shows and stuff like that. But you know, if you are mainstream, they're going to put money behind certain things that they feel like that they're going to get their return on.
Yeah.
So they're going to push that more versus a person who is people may like them, but it's like this ain't really what was hot right
That's
now.
what I be telling them about y'all rappers who been rapping for the last 10, 15 years and y'all still ain't hot. Clearly, y'all still not on. Y'all just not hot. Like, I don't care how many people on your fucking block know you. You're not going to get to the fucking mainstream. If you only get into a certain level and if you still just doing shows at the fucking bars in the hood or shows only at certain places in Philly, you're not going that far. If nobody mainstream wants to put that money behind you and you don't have the hustle to keep going to make the money to continue to put it behind yourself independently, you're not as good as you think you are. Sorry. But I'm not sorry.
Or you could just not reaching your audience the way you need to be too. That's another
I.e.,
thing.
you're not as good as you think you are because there's something in your strategy that you need to change. Not just saying your bars ain't as good as you think they are.
True.
Your whole strategy
That should
and your whole package is not as good as you think it is.
Also,
you need to change something, and if you don't believe you should change something, you should be fucking doing it.
right. Also, the industry has changed a lot. Like when music was, you know, different, and it was different in our day and age. You had physical compact discs. You had people actually going to the meet and greets in the stores. FYE.
Yeah, that was my
Going
shit.
to go get your CD signed. People when people was going platinum, that was literally millions of people going out to physically buy the album. Nowadays, when you stream, you don't have to purchase anything. You can just stream it.
Yep.
That's it. You pay one subscription for one DSP, and then you stream it, and that's it. So that I feel like that weighs in a lot too. Then you got people, you got the merch aspect, but that's a lot of the reason why a lot of artists who aren't mainstream, when they're independent, they always branch out and do other things, and they have deals. And you know, and if you peep, it started to shift even when we were younger. Because even thinking about, listen, I'm like, oh my goodness, he's saying something so right. I was listening to a recent interview with a guy in rap, and he was talking about how all the rappers started doing the liquor deals. They started doing the liquor deals and shit like that. I'm like, yes, they really did start branching out, and then it became the clothing lines and shit like that, because they were realizing we ain't getting no fucking money. We ain't really getting no money. Like, and if we is, it's only enough to sustain us for a little bit.
The liquor deals within the songs.
Yep.
And
they was in the videos.
And then we started buying the shit
The
out in the
liquor-
clubs.
yep,
and
'cause
we
we
went
saw
out and
them.
all of this shit.
Yep.
Like I said, in the clothes, we started buying the fucking clothes.
Yep.
And shit.
Street teams was a thing. You had the vans riding around, reaching the people.
To their concerts, it all came together full circle because you wanted to buy the clothes.
Yep.
If you was old enough to buy the liquor, you did. If you wasn't, you couldn't get the clothes, and then by the time you reached around to actually get to like a concert or something,
Yep.
you had some sort of merchandise, i.e. their clothes. You was gonna wear motherfucking rock and sweats.
Okay.
You
Sweats. Even thinking, even just
proud sweats.
okay,
It's
and even
motherfucking powerhouse.
even just calling, so like even just calling up to the radio station to ask a song to
Yep.
be played. That
Oh
don't
my
even happen no
God.
more. Yeah, when you
Yeah,
really
really
think
is.
about it, music has really changed. So I mean, listen, and this is no knock to nobody that's still trying to make it. If you feel like that's what you're supposed to do, bro, who am I to tell you anything? Do you? But what I will say is shout out to everybody who's actually getting it cracking, making it happen, because it's really, even though it has changed, I feel like people still do work hard. It's just it's in a different way, and everything is rigged. Shit is rigged.
True. Shit is definitely rigged. And you
Shit
definitely
is
got
rigged.
a lot of sucking, fucking, and ass kissing in
Girl.
certain places in the industry, and it's unfortunate, which is why you got to be really careful about what kind of dreams you want to create for yourself. Even if you do want to get within the industry, everything is not about having a spotlight put on you. Maybe you want to be a writer. Maybe you want to be a producer. You don't got to be have a spotlight put on you at all times. That's just me, personally. Because again, a lot of y'all booty holes be getting tapped to get what y'all want, but I'm not going to say that. Nevertheless, so that takes us right into our last segment of the episode, reality check. So, honest posing question for today's reality check is your first favorite female rap song. Now, I read this wrong at first. I thought it was your first favorite female rapper, and I was like, oh, bitch, I already know what mine is. But when you hit me with the song, I said, oh, bitch, I don't know what to tell you. Because my very first one, like, 9 times out of 10, it was something by Lil' Kim or Eve. So, but I don't know.
For me, I just remember like really being drawn to her. Like the one that sticks out in my mind. Early on, I'm just thinking about being really young. I'm talking about before like I remember.
You said female
rap Foxy and Kim and them, but for them, but like something that stuck out in my head, like favorite or most memorable. I should have put most memorable when I was younger, because I know for a fact I was in kindergarten, and that's when Lady of Rage dropped Rough and Tough with my Afro Puffs, and I really just thought that she was the fucking. I'm like, oh my God, it's a black girl with Afro Puffs on the TV. I rock Rough and Tough with my Afro Puffs. Rock on with your bad self. Okay, that was my shit.
That video at first.
Yes. I was like, oh my God, look. I'm like, and then later came the
you also
the bad boy and shit.
Who remember shit that young too, because a lot of people don't remember shit that young. Because I know I damn sure don't.
I do.
The average person I know does not remember shit from that young. It's possible. Don't get me wrong, because I know maybe 2 or 3 other people who I met. And yeah, I remember stuff from them, like maybe 2 or 3. I'm like, bitch, what? Like, bitch, no, I don't. Like, no.
It was my first.
No,
my favorite. That was one of my favorite first female rap songs for sure. Rough and Tough with my Afro Puffs. You know, you had your classic Salt and Pepper shit, because I grew up on all that shit. My parents, that was they coming out and partying years and all that other stuff. So that
you also grew up differently than I did. Remember, I had a holy Christian mother, and I'm like the only rap I didn't get exposed to actually rap more further on. I got exposed to like old school, like R&B and all of that shit, like all the old school plays, like grandpa and grandma.
Yeah, that was my dad and my kid
first. I didn't get exposed to hip hop until I want to say maybe at the mid to tail end of elementary school.
Oh yeah, no, I had both, because my mom also was Jesus. That lady, yeah. She wasn't.
That's all my mom.
Because all my CDs were cursing and stuff. I wasn't allowed to have that. But when I went with my dad, it was a different story. I was never not going to know it, because my dad listened to it. And I spent a lot of too. I spent him a lot of time in the car with him and shit like that. So that's why I have an even kill. From everything from my dad listens to classical music. He listens to jazz. He listens to literally every.
Well, you also
thing.
Spent a lot of, again, by the time I started listening to that stuff, me and my parents had separated though too, so I didn't spend the amount of time around my dad to listen to the type of music he would listen to. He was on the fucking road playing that shit. Of course he listened to it, but I wasn't with him to listen to the shit, because he was on the fucking road playing shit.
So so music for me, it was just
I was listening to people he was playing for.
It was but
I didn't know until I got older. So it's just like I didn't. The only exposure I had again up until a certain time was all.
And then they both did. Both my parents also dibbled a dab, because my mom sang. My dad also knows how to sing. My dad also was dealing with people who was doing music too, and had something going at the time. So I used to go to rehearsals for that too. So I was exposed to a lot of different shit. So I'm just like, oh wow, like
I probably would have had a different exposure again if I was around my dad during that time.
Yeah.
But because I know I would have had a different exposure if I was around my dad during that time. But because I wasn't, because he was on the road versus just listening to shit, he probably would have never took me. So it was just me being on the road with my mom and her choir, because that's where she felt safe. So I wasn't exposed until late. So again, the earliest favorites I can remember, it was, like I said, it was either Eve or it was Lil' Kim, but 9 times out of 10 it was Lil' Kim. Like Lil' Kim's verse to All About the Benjamins was one of the first memorable verses I remember, like female wise, knowing the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember sitting on the front steps on Sittingham Street, like really just sitting there listening to that shit on repeat while my cousin baby dad washed his car, because he loved Bad Boy. I can see him now shining up his rims. I'm just sitting there listening to Kim, because I'm like, I remember my dad telling me that telling me about the structure of that beat and what that's called, how it switched to one beat to the other. Like we really used to have conversations about shit like that. So that's why I'm like certain shit like really just stick in my head a little bit, because I got like them memories that I just have in my head, like just randomly just sitting there, and he'll be like, oh, you know what this is called? Oh, this is a sample of this song. Yeah, because that's the shit that he was into. And I always thought it was crazy because I'm like, nigga, you really listen to this shit, like, for real? Like, we're older, because even when I was getting older, I'm like, yo, my dad still listen to this shit. I'm like, but that's how I'm going to be. I'm always going to love rap.
Still don't listen to rap.
I'm still going to always, and I always say that to myself, I'm always going to love rap. I don't care if I'm 85. I'm probably always going to love rap. You know what I mean?
There's certain...
Because you know how some people say, oh, you're going to go out of that riff-raff, no.
I mean, you like what
to
you
a certain
like. That's why I said you like what you like. My mom still don't listen to hip hop or R&B. Or rap. I say hip hop or R&B. Hip hop or rap. My mom, you know, I don't like that. I'm like, I know, that's why I was so fucking late on this shit. I'm like, to me, until end of elementary school is fucking late. Like, but when I jumped into it, I was like completely all in. So she was just like completely shocked. How the fuck do you know all this? And you don't listen to this in the house with me or around me. It's like, well, bitch.
Well, school, kids. Because even with that, kids still going.
Exactly.
Yep.
I wish you wasn't cursing around me either. I still cuss like it's so. I told her my first word was either bitch or motherfucker.
The choice, the preference. We're back at preference. Full circle. So yeah. that was that, y'all.
And that was that. Thank y'all for joining us. That was a good memory though. The back down memory lane. Damn, no female. Cause you know what? I ain't gonna even lie though. Still to this day, just as an honorary, it's not about it's clearly this wasn't one of the first female rap songs.
Oh no, it wasn't first.
Eve, Love Is Blind, still hands down.
Yes,
I don't know what the fuck it is about that song.
I think it was the video that did it for me.
Still one of my favorite fucking female rap songs to this fucking day. That is one of my favorite Eve songs, hands fucking down.
And got him in. Oh my god,
girl. But that love that when she come on the track, I don't even know you and I hate you.
Yep.
She had so much passion and fire. Her with a little story touched her heart. It probably was the video. Love is blind.
Don't be like, well, that's another episode, y'all. That's it. That was a reality check for the week. So what was your favorite, like, what your most memorable, the first rap song that really embedded itself in your brain that you really was, female. No, I want to know females specifically. Okay, let's do the females, because the females is running shit. They trying to do they shit. No, it's all right. They trying to do they shit or whatever like that. So let us know as far as female. What really struck a nerve?
The only, now that you say that though, Missy Elliott was the female, the rapper my mom was.
And my dad loved her down. And my dad loved her. I think it's because she didn't
curse like that.
Nope.
And
her messages were hitting, and she wasn't a pussy rapper either. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And she was very versatile. Like her and Lauryn Hill had that singing rap type situation going on. So it's like, they really. I feel like that's why people, even if you didn't listen to them, you kind of felt more comfortable listening to their music because it wasn't just about drugs and violence and shit like that. Yeah. You know.
Which is why it's perturbed me. I'm like Tupac. I'm like,
I was surprised to figure out that one of my cousins actually like Tupac. I'm like, yo, and I think I'm like,
I think they just like one Tupac song, to be honest. I don't even think they like Tupac. I'm like, do you really know all Tupac's music?
No.
Like, I don't think you really fucking know. Like, child. Did you listen to Hit 'Em Up? Okay, never Hit 'Em Up. That's my shit. I'm just saying. I know.
Well, thanks for joining us for another week yet again.
Please and thank you.
Make sure you bring that ass back. Bring that ass back, boy. Or girl. Or they.
Can we put that in a little bring that ass back, man?
I'm gonna get up out of here and give you a nice
some different beats about little intros too. I've been trying to think of some little loop songs and stuff that you get. I got a couple of samples that I download. I want to send it. Write that little bring that ass tap tap tap. Write that down so we can probably add that to the loop.
And if y'all want to add a little to the, y'all can do that too.
Yeah.
The folks. Yeah. Cause we trying to get an intro together, y'all. We trying to.
I'm telling you, I got a couple of things that write that, record yourself saying that, and then send it to me. I'm gonna send you the things that I got down because I've been playing DJ in the background.
I'm crying.
I have.
I'm crying.
So send us some things, y'all. Join us next week. I am CHRISSIE.
And it's Anna.
And together we are.
To each his own.
Bye.